Stephen A., who's more important to the Seahawks' success? Is it Pete Carroll or Russell?
I'm going to say it's Pete Carroll. And here's the reason I'm going to say Pete Carroll, Max Kellerman. Russell Wilson has already thrown for nearly 34,000 yards. Career completed 65% of his passes. Destined for the Hall of Fame. Already a Super Bowl champion, 2 Super Bowl appearances. If Pete Carroll and Darrell Bevel didn't call that pass over the middle that Malcolm Butler ultimately intercepted and just gave the ball the beast mode, you'd have 2 championships. You'd have back-to-back Super Bowl championships, and Tom Brady would have 6 championships instead of 7. New England would have 5 instead of 6 because they should have lost that damn Super Bowl. When I look at Russell Wilson, I know what I'm getting. He hasn't missed a playoff but once in his entire career in Seattle. He's only got 1 Super Bowl. And when you look at it, and it's the sport of football, and we pay attention to what's going on, think about the power that the head coach has. Think about how he's the overseer of offense, of defense, of special teams. Think about the role that Pete Carroll plays in terms of assembling the roster and the squad. Russell Wilson is great. Nobody's here to question his greatness. What I'm trying to say is that particularly in the sport of football, he can't do it alone. He needs all the help that he can get. And one of the reasons why he was contemplating being traded, and he had his agent publicly give out lists of teams that he would be interested in going to, that was his way of saying to Pete Carroll enough was enough. Why? Because he believed that Pete Carroll had inhibited his success. That's really what it comes down to. If you're successful and you're winning, what will Russell Wilson have said? Think about that for a second here. Why would he come out there publicly? Because the absence of control is what he was saddled with, having to be at the mercy of other people who were making decisions. And that basically is about Pete Carroll. And in the sport of football, when you're the head coach, you have considerable power and influence, and you can get in the way of somebody like Russell Wilson. If this were basketball, Max, I would go the route of Russell Wilson. But we're talking football, and I definitely think it's the head coach.
Normally, I would say baseball is a GM's league.
Okay.
You want the GM.
Yeah.
Basketball is a players' league. Best player wins. Players. And the NFL, football, is a coach's league. No one has more sway than the head coach.
Right.
Except something has changed recently. The increased focus on offense constantly, making it better and better, easier and easier for the offense because fans love it. I have nothing against it.
Cool.
Has made the quarterback so important that a handful of them, and we can name them, Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, and I think the 4th guy in that is Russell Wilson. A handful of those extreme outlier quarterbacks are even more important than the head coach. And when I look at the NFC West, Stephen A., I see a beast of a division, the best in football. I see Stafford with the Rams, and he's an upgrade. Everyone thinks over Goff, but the Rams also have a defense, and they have an offensive line. They have all these things. It's not just about the quarterback. Arizona with Kyler Murray, but I don't think Arizona, I think they're going to come way up. I don't think they're quite ready. The Niners, also a well-rounded team. It's not about Jimmy G or even Trey Lance at this point. But Seattle, if they want to compete for a title, it's got to be about Russell Wilson. Like, Russell Wilson is more important to his team than any other team in the division. The quarterback is more important than ever before. And I don't see how Seattle does anything unless he balls out. He had a subpar year by his standards last year. But over the last 6 years, even if no one year he's the best in the league, I don't think anyone's been better than Russell Wilson over the last half dozen years in the NFL.
I would remind you, Max, that when they lost the Super Bowl to the New England Patriots, there were a lot of people on that team that believed the play that was called where Russell Wilson threw the interception to Malcolm Butler was because Pete Carroll and Seattle wanted Russell Wilson to be the hero instead of beast mode. This is the kind of stuff that turned a lot of those dudes off. You know me.
Yeah, you're not pulling that out of thin air.
I'm not pulling that out of thin air. I'm telling you, you had a lot of people that had a problem. And even though you love Pete Carroll because, you know, he was considered a player's coach to some degree, et cetera, there's a lot of people that's still to this day bitter. They believe that decision, that lone decision cost them a Super Bowl title. And so when you look at it from that perspective, yeah, they wanted Russell Wilson to be that guy. But they thought it was a bit premature. Legion of Boom didn't feel their days were done. their defense didn't feel their day was done as having a profound impact. Matter of fact, they believe they're the reason that they won that Super Bowl, which, by the way, it was. Because as good as Russell Wilson was, he wasn't the Legion of Boom. He didn't have that kind of impact. And so we got to look at it from that perspective and then pause just for a second to understand Russell Wilson might have that kind of impact, and I get that. But the bottom line is, who gave it to him? It was Pete Carroll. That's what makes Pete Carroll so important.
There's one other thing I want to mention quickly that I didn't put in the lead when I said various dissatisfactions. In his 9 seasons in the NFL, he's been sacked 394 times. That's
Get rid of the
28
ball, Russ.
more than any other. Yeah, no, it's not. It's
Look,
not
look.
all on Russ. And during that time, they have the longest winning streak, despite all that.
And Max, by the way, I promise you, it ain't the sacks. It's the amount of hits he's taking.
Yeah. Look, I'll say this. Seattle, when they made that Max Unger deal for Jimmy Graham, they traded a Pro Bowl caliber offensive lineman for a pass-catching tight end.
Yeah.
They were trying to get him more weapons. They thought, it seems to me, they could just develop offensive linemen, get them later in the draft. They were wrong. The offensive line was really bad for a while. I don't feel watching them in recent years it was as bad as the line is as bad now as it was a couple of years ago. It's gotten progressively a little bit better.
Hold on.
The defense should be much better this year.
Hold on. You can't say that on national television.
Why?
Because you ain't Russell Wilson. You ain't the one getting hit.
Well,
You know, I don't know. Well, here's what I mean by that. You're saying the offensive line didn't look as bad. Listen, a couple of years ago, I get where you're coming from. Don't get me wrong. I don't mean it in a literal sense because obviously you're a pundit and you're giving your opinion. So am I. I'm not saying that, Max. What I'm saying is this. 2 years ago, he didn't entertain being traded. 2 years ago, he wasn't so frustrated that he said, you know what, get me the hell up out of here.
That's what it is? Or do you think he saw what Tom Brady just did?
No.
No, but I think it's part of it, taking all the hits.
I think it was taking all the hits, Max.
Look.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.